to the next file, that is 25/6%. So you'll have, instead of up till D2, you'll maybe filed up till D4, D5 dental shavings other, which is an ideal preparation. 25/6% for large canals only.
To enlarge the canals,
Increase the increase the, I guess so, and we are increasing the taper also for large canals only.
Tapering is percentage.
Percentage. Taper is a percentage. Answer for this?
Sodium hypochlorite.
Anything else?
Chlorhexidine for dressing purpose.
Else? Anything else?
Saline.
That is irrigant. I mean, that's not an irrigant, that's a washing agent. EDTA is also there. I remember the first steps in access opening that and the steps in RCT that I explained. What was the first step?
Isolation.
Isolation. This is the reason why we isolate, so that the saliva doesn't enter the because I found this in one of the lectures that I attended. Everyone gave this answer only, but the reason what we use is the whole saliva enters the root canal sterile. Remember why we are isolating? We are isolating so that the whole canal becomes sterile, clean, so that the saliva contains a lot of bacteria that shouldn't enter the canal.
Before obturation we can.
Yeah. What I do is, suppose here in case if you're not here, we don't use rubber dam. Rare cases, some just for documentation and all we use. Suppose you don't have rubber dam. Here what I do is this hypochlorite will come in the throat. I'll let the patient wash his mouth. Before obturation, 1 syringe of hypo I'll irrigate, placing a cotton on the tooth so that the cotton will absorb it. I'll remove the cotton, wash again it with saline. The assistant will suck it off with the suction. At this time I won't let the patient close the mouth, because that area is sterile. That canal is sterile. I don't want to contaminate it before obturation. Even master cone X-ray and everything will be taken before it only, because when you take master cone X-ray, again a lot of saliva will go inside. So I'll first check the master cone X-ray, then I'll start irrigation process. Irrigation protocols is different for different cases. Infected cases, I told you, chlorhexidine has to be, saline has to be used first. Infected as not periapical lesion with extraoral swelling, always saline first, then hypochlorite, then last will be chlorhexidine. But in between these irrigants, always use saline to wash off the irrigants, because have you heard of interactions between the irrigants? What will happen? Hypo gets like if you mix hypo with chlorhexidine, you know what will happen? There's a red color precipitate that forms. I'll show you a demo also what happens if you mix chlorhexidine and hypo. Red color precipitate forms. That's called as parachloroaniline. If that happens, if in the canal, suppose you irrigate with hypo, you forget to wash it with saline and use chlorhexidine, there will be red precipitate, like how clot forms, like that the whole canal inside it will be formed, like proper precipitate. It can block the canals. Then to remove that, it's a big headache. Same thing, chlorhexidine with hypochlorite. One interaction is there. At the same time, chlorhexidine and EDTA also has a reaction. What happens is, visibly nothing happens. EDTA will actually reduce the efficiency of hypo. For hypochlorite, it's sodium and chlorine release. The chlorine is what acts in sodium hypochlorite for the irrigation purpose. Like chlorine ions is what helps in disinfecting the whole canals. What EDTA does is, EDTA will reduce those chlorine ions. So hypochlorite will be absolutely inefficient. The potency, the efficiency of the hypochlorite will reduce, because if you mix EDTA with hypochlorite.
In my clinic, I used to fill that water.
Huh?
bottle types
Huh.
with chlorhexidine.
I've seen some.
Will this cause any, because in root
It
canal
will, it will, it will, because when you irrigate, chances are there.
few drops, big
You
bottle.
cannot, few drops, I don't think so it will create, but better.
But still now there is no problem.
You have
precipitate formation.
Precipitate, you have not,
No.
slight brownish reddish you have not seen, then it's fine. Sometimes you will see slight reddish brownish formation, like the color of the solution changes. The syringe,
The
when you
brown
use
colour
brown,
come out, ooze out from the canal.
brown,
That thing you are saying.
yeah, no, when you irrigate,
Ah.
like when you wash a tooth with hypochlorite and when you use a chlorhexidine, the color of that solution which is there in the canal,
Ah.
that will change to brown.
Yeah, brown.
It happens. It will block. It will block the canal. That's actually the parachloroaniline compounds which is forming. Maybe in your case it's very mild which is happening.
Full bottle I'll use.
That's the interaction that happens when hypochlorite.
Instead
Yeah.
of using that, we can use a saline also
For what?
to clean that, and again we.
That's why I told. When you irrigate with hypo, before using chlorhexidine, wash with saline. The canals you should wash with saline, then use chlorhexidine. Then again wash with saline. Between these irrigants, that's why I said saline is not an irrigant, it's just a washing agent. Between these irrigants, chlorhexidine you mix with EDTA, white precipitate forms. Like after chlorhexidine you use EDTA, there will be a white, chalky, like curd-like appearance forms.
How about betadine with hypochlorite?
That I've never seen. I mean, I've never tried it, but
We'll
we'll try and see. That's why you'll learn while interacting. You'll learn a lot of new things. In last batch also, I learned something new while access opening that I'll show. Remember, I told you about caries induced. I mean, caries driven access. I told you. So when there is a caries and you try to do access opening from there, sometimes you won't know where to stop the extension. So while explaining it to one student, I found out one technique, a method which I liked it. So when I'll show, I'll tell. So these are the protocols you can use. I prefer citric wash is actually a type of EDT only, but the potency is more than EDT. Like theoretically or research was scientifically, if you see, if this is 20% efficiency, EDT, if it is 20% efficiency, this will be 40% efficiency. Citric wash and EDTA, or EDTA citric wash.
Citric wash we are using, sir.
Here this is EDTA, 17%. Like this, one bottle comes, not this big, but a small bottle. Citric wash, Citra Prep, or like that one name comes.
Like this we are using a tube kind of like a gel.
That is the EDTA gel, that is EDTA liquid.
Okay.
Forgot to mention. This is for glide path. This is cream lubricating gel. This is the same thing but in a liquid form. For irrigation we use. That's what this is gel form. This is liquid form. This is used for irrigation. This is used for hand files. This advantage, I told you, it opens up all the lateral. It removes the smear layer and all the tubules, dentin. Both. But much efficient than this is that one. But for irrigation, even efficient than that is the citric wash.
So while using that, how
We cannot visibly see, but if
not visibly see, we can't see.
Yeah.
So around the teeth, any precautions like a cotton we need to keep while doing
taste,
irrigation? Not
for
this. I'm asking.
for that all the irrigants, EDTA, chlorhexidine, hypochlorite, all taste like horrible. I've tasted all three. It tastes horrible. And that's why I said in our college, our interns in charge used to make us taste each solution. So I've tasted hypo, I've tasted etchant, I've tasted EDTA, chlorhexidine. I thought chlorhexidine is even more, like we use chlorhexidine mouthwash, right? I thought it will be like that. It's horrible. So that's why we need to isolate and do. Or else for all the irrigants, if you don't have isolation, you place cotton. Some situations, some posterior back, like extremely 7 or 6 distal approaching, like for tomorrow, your case, distal approaching, it is very difficult to place cotton at times. In those cases, inform patient prior that we'll be using a chemical solution, taste will be bad, so don't swallow it or don't move your head or don't create any like vigorous movements and all. So he shouldn't close his mouth, or he or she shouldn't close his mouth.
We need a nice staff to. We need a nice staff to keep.
The suction. So just tell the patient that we'll be using a suction to suck the solution out, but still some solution will come here and there. Make the patient mentally prepared. At the same time, that's what, after irrigate, first if you're not able to place cotton, in between you might have to let the patient close the mouth. Saliva will go inside, no issues, but the last before obturation, that last irrigant, patient should not close the mouth. That time it will be very minute only, patient won't feel anything, and obturation will be fast only, like it's just placement of cones and cutting off. Since we have heating tip, it is even more faster. Yeah, this one I will show. It is it's this there's an evident color change that happens. Proper brown, almost like that color.
So EDK liquid for irrigation.
Irrigation. Gel for glide path, for hand files, for
easy.
For smooth glide file. It's like a lubricating gel, like the file will glide easily in the canal. It won't. The file won't be. There won't be any friction in the canals. It will glide smoothly in the canal.
Calcified
Yeah, calcified. This is the best thing. More than this, that is best thing. That one you put 2 drops, wait for like 4-5 minutes in the canal. It will soften all the dentin for calcified canals. Liquid is really efficient.